is the method that I think we need to increasingly consider, to talk about openly and to discuss and debate and recognize there are questions it raises, I get. But we need to move and evolve to address those questions if we're going to have a strategy that can in the end win. So here it is. I have a slogan. I'm not good at slogan writing, but here's the slogan. Exo-politicians of the world, we have to unite behind Iraq and force change with an Article 5 convention. There it is. Okay, it's not quite a bumper sticker yet. But not quite a bumper sticker yet. But this is the work we need to push to understand how this architecture, these architectures of changes, can be the next step of this incredibly important movement. I'll just end with this. I had the honor of going to New Hampshire earlier this week to talk to some climate change scientists about the problem of money in their field. And I had to start by confessing to them that I know that this is controversial. Al is still my hero here. And I showed them this clip from the TED Talk that Al gave.
I'm a big advocate of changing the light bulbs and buying hybrids, and Tipper and I put 33 solar panels on our house and dug the geothermal wells and done all of that other stuff. But as important as it is to change the light bulbs, it's more important to change the laws. And when we change our behavior in our daily lives, we sometimes leave out the citizenship part and the democracy part. In order to be optimistic about this, we have to become incredibly active as citizens in our democracy. In order to solve the climate crisis, we have to solve the democracy crisis.
The democracy crisis. Now, I have never been to an event that depressed me more than that event with climate change scientists talking about the state of climate change knowledge. Because as we sat there and focused upon the fact that indeed the problem was much worse than we thought. It turned out Al Gore and his filmmaker Davis Guggenheim, who's in the room here, were apologists. Because they described it, I'm joking of course, right? They described it in a way that turns out not to be as profoundly threatening as it is. I reflected on the fact that we're not making progress on this fundamental, for me, the most fundamental issue. Indeed, after 2008, when both candidates ran saying this was a priority, 2012 happened and neither candidate even mentioned the issue. Incredibly depressing. And then as I sat there and I thought about every other issue that we think of as important, getting a healthcare system that works and we could afford, getting reform on Wall Street that doesn't make our economy vulnerable to the gambles of the richest people in our society, finding a way to address the fundamental debt crisis that will burden our children and our children's children and our children's children's children. Came back to this democracy crisis. This democracy crisis. Now, what the hell are we doing about this democracy crisis? And I don't think of it so much as the democracy crisis. I think of it as the republic crisis. It's the crisis of living in Lesterland. Crisis of living in Lesterland. And we were warned about this crisis. When Franklin was carried from the Constitutional Convention in 1787 and stopped on the street in Philadelphia by a woman, she said, "Mr. Franklin, what have you wrought?" Franklin said, "A republic now, if you can keep it."